Okay, welcome to the gentle yoga class. Find something that you can, you probably have some props nearby if you need them. If you have something that you need to sit on while we get started, go ahead and put that underneath your sitting bones to kind of elevate the hips. I wanted to, there's this book that's really, really amazing. It's a little bit too in depth for our book club, but it's called The Great Work of Your Life, and it's by Stephen Cope, and it talks a lot about dharma. Dharma being your purpose, what your job is, whatever it is that you're aligned with in this lifetime. Um, we have these ideas starting from childhood of, we go to school, we go to college, we get a job that can support our families or whatever it is. And sometimes there's this thing inside of us that is aching for a different direction, or sometimes our dharma or our purpose can change. I know for mine, for a very long time, it was being a stay-at-home mom. I spent at least a decade at home with my children, and then my dharma and my purpose started to change. um, and so I just wanted to read you this really quickly, because if we could just break that down, because some of us really, we're totally 100% satisfied with what we're doing in life. We're good. Um, but if we don't feel unified with what we're doing, um, then we can't ever 100% fully be happy. So sometimes, and what we're going to kind of just what I'm going to suggest for today is just breaking this down for just today. The process of unification requires saying no to actions that don't support our dharma, right? So if we can't learn to say no to things that are not supporting who we're supposed to be, and we keep doing the people pleasing, or you know um, expectations or ideals that don't really fit us, then we're going to be kind of doomed to this inner conflict. And I'm a yoga teacher, so I have to talk about this because it's all about union, right? With who we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be. So maybe just for today, and maybe you won't get the opportunity, but just keep this in the forefront of your mind. Maybe think about what that inner purpose is and what you can do today to say yes to getting closer to that, and no if it doesn't support it. Okay. It's big stuff, but you guys are not new. And everybody's been, we've been living this life for a while. So we're not new to life either. So make sure you're doing what your soul is meant to do while you're here. Okay. Let's go ahead, and you can just sit regular, easy pose. Have your palms on your lap. Close the eyes if you're comfortable closing the eyes. The good thing about this type of class, this gentle class, very minimal, very slow movements, but it is also more than just stretching, right? As Rolf Gates says, yoga is not a workout, it is a work in. So after what I was just talking about, what bubbles to the surface when you close your eyes? Let's take a few breaths in and out through the nose. If your eyes are closed, or even if you have a soft gaze on the floor, just kind of rock a little bit left to right, front to back, and find that equilibrium where you feel like you're reaching up through the crown of your head, rooted down through the sitting bones. And so whatever has come to the surface for you, hold that into in the forefront of your mind as we go through the practice. Lots of downtime to not think, but just hold space for yourself and whatever it is that is floated up. You can keep the eyes closed or open here, but we're gonna inhale and bring the arms up. Interlace the fingers, palms up towards the ceiling, and exhale. Settle the shoulders back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhale, reach back to center. And then exhale, lean to the left. Back to center. Bring the arms down. However your feet were crossed, switch. So whatever foot was on the bottom, put it on the top. We're just going to get tall, lengthen through the spine, and then walk fingertips forward as we fold. Just go as far as your body will let you. Now, I usually talk about not pressing your sitting bones towards the floor, but here you can lengthen. So as you reach forward, sit back. And then stop wherever your body is telling you to stop. You can use a block to support your forehead if your forehead is not touching the floor. Let's take another breath or two here. And then inhale, look up, walk the hands back. We're going to use our hands to bring our knees together. Just straighten them out for a moment so we can do a forward fold. And then we're going to go a little bit deeper in the hips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, legs are strong. Walk the fingertips forward. The hamstrings are going to be cold, so you don't worry about how far you go. Just pull the shoulders back, shoulder blades towards each other and down towards the tailbone. And try to keep the feet flexed here. Just stare at your toes for a focus point. We're going to take 3 more breaths. And then inhale, look up, and then exhale, release. Take your right knee, bend the right knee, drop it out to the side. Maybe get this sitting bone a little bit more grounded on the left side. Press the left leg into the floor, inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold. Move with the breath, kind of pouring up and over the leg. And we breathe here. Part of focusing inward is finding a focus point. So wherever it is, just find a spot and don't let go. If you're able to fold all the way forward, wrap your hands around the outside of the foot. So left palm flips out, and then you're grabbing the right fingertips. But the leg is still engaged. Another breath or two here. Inhale, look up. And exhale, release. Other side. Right knee comes in. Make sure you close the knee joint first before you drop it out to the side. Make sure these quadriceps are engaged the whole time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Find your breath. The back of the body is still working here. The inner edges of the shoulder blades are drawn towards each other. Your bandhas are engaged, pelvic floor lifted, lower belly gathering in and up. And then chin towards the shin to keep the neck neutral. Inhale, look up. And exhale, release. Good. Okay, so bend the knees. We're gonna do fire log pose. So Robin and Erica, I don't know if we've done this in person, but I'm pretty sure your hips are open enough to do this. Have a block nearby just in case, all right? The bottom leg, and Allison, I assume I see that you're pretty open, so you're good here, right? Okay, so your right knee is gonna be bent, parallel with the front of your mat. You're gonna take the left ankle to the right knee and stack the top knee to the ankle, okay? So stacked right on top of each other. And if this doesn't happen, Put your block in front of your right knee and just put your foot on top of the block, okay? Good. We're just gonna walk our fingertips forward here. When you're ready, we're gonna take 3 breaths forward and then we're gonna walk to the right and to the left. So depending on where you're needing the stretch, you might feel it on the outside of the hip, left side, maybe the right. Walk your hands to the right, go as far as you can. Keep your breath the whole time. Slowly walk to the left. The legs are not doing anything really muscularly here, but the upper body is. So those shoulders are still away from the ears. You want your trapezius to be nice and soft. Back to center, and then walk the hands back up. Unpretzel yourself. Do the other side. If you want to straighten the legs and just bounce the knees for a moment, you can do that. And then bend the left leg and take knee, ankle, knee, ankle. Keep the feet flexed. We just want to stabilize the knee joints, so keep the feet flexed. Walk the fingertips forward. Notice any differences on this side than the other side. You might have a tighter side or a more open. And just go as far as the body will let you. Shoulders back. A few breaths here. And if you're using the block on this side, of course, it will go on in front of the left knee. Walk your hands to the right. And then to the left. Notice where you're feeling the sensations in the body, and don't hold your breath here. Sometimes when we're super tight, we are definitely just trying to get through it and maybe holding the breath. Let the breath flow freely. Back to center. Good. Walk back to a seated position. Carefully undo the legs, straighten them out, just bounce them out for a moment. Good. And then let's go ahead and lie down on our backs. I always say this gentle class is like a class that, you know, my grandma could come to, but she definitely would not be able to do that pose. So that's because I know you guys enough. All right, take the right knee to the left ankle. I just want you to rotate the ankle joint for a moment here, both directions. And then we're just gonna cross this right leg all the way over. So just like we're sitting and crossing legs, and then go ahead and drop the knees to the left, coming into a twist. Extend the arms out. And if you don't feel enough of a stretch here, because you do want to continue to grow as far as opening up the pectoral muscles, go ahead and bend the elbows. Now, that bottom leg, the left foot, if you feel like you want to reach down and grab it, if you're able to, go ahead and do that. You might need to use your left hand and support the top of the leg, the right leg. You decide how far you want to go into this twist. But everybody breathes. One more. If you have the foot and the leg, release, engage the abdominals, bring the knees back up towards the ceiling, and then unravel the legs. Take your left ankle to your right thigh, rotate the ankle joint. And then go ahead and cross this left leg all the way over. You're either just gonna let the knees drop to the right, which is already a pretty deep twist, but if you wanna go further, go ahead and grab that bottom leg. And your hands are either grabbing and supporting your legs or they're extended. If you close your eyes here, you can still keep the focus inward. It's safe to close your eyes. Follow the breath. If we're looking for union for bigger things, it always begins with the breath. So find union with your breath. On your next exhale, make sure you engage the abdominals, bring the knees back up towards the ceiling, uncross the legs, bring the knees up towards the chest, and then we're gonna rock a little bit left to right. Just squish the lower back. Bring the feet back down to the mat. You're gonna straighten the left leg and then take the right heel up towards the body and we're coming into a supine tree. So we've already done our head on knee pose, the Janu Shirshasana, similar to this, but we were sitting up as a forward fold. Now we're really just focusing on opening this right hip. If you wanna bring your arms overhead, go ahead. Left leg is gonna stay active, toes up towards the ceiling, as if you're standing. You can even press the right foot into the left thigh. Find your breath. One more. Bring the arms down. Bring the knee up towards the ceiling. Straighten this right leg and bend the left. Bring the heel as close as you can and then drop the knee out to the side. You can either keep your hands on your belly this time or bring the arms overhead once again, but the right leg is going to stay active. I just want you to notice something here. If you were standing and you weren't just pressing into the air, where would the weight of your foot be? Are you favoring the outside of the foot? Is there a way that we can find balance by pressing through the ball mound of the big toe on that right foot, as if we're pressing evenly into the ground? Shoulder blades are flat on the mat. Find your breath. One more here. Engage the abdominals, bring the knee up towards the ceiling. You're gonna bend both knees and then separate the feet a little bit. So you can drop the knees to the right, drop them to the left, just kind of doing a simple twist here with the legs. And then we'll roll onto our right side. Push ourselves up, and we're gonna meet in child's pose. So come to hands and knees, bring your big toes together, knees apart. Sit back on your heels. To begin, walk your hands forward as far as you can. Lengthen the spine, bring your forehead to some sort of support, either the mat or a block. And press your fingertips into the mat. Open up the shoulders. Breathe here. Feel gravity weigh down your sitting bones onto the heels. And then just another signal to the brain. If you want to roll the forehead back and forth a little bit, just to kind of turn off the thinking, go ahead and make that movement. We're going to take 3 more breaths here. Deep, deep breathing. And then on an inhale, look up, start to walk the hands a little bit closer. Bring yourself to hands and knees. Knees come under the hips. We're going to curl the toes under and come into downward facing dog here. So before you even lift up, just make sure your fingers are spread, wrists are lined up to the front of the mat, and then bring the hips up and back, nice and slow. Move with your breath, bring the ears to the inner arms. If you want to begin to pedal the feet out, you can. If you're just needing stillness this morning, just be still. You decide, but everybody is breathing. Let the head dangle for a moment, maybe even come up onto the toes. Whatever movement your body's craving here. We're going to take the right leg up. So just bring it up as far as you can. Coming into three-legged dog. For a moment, I want you to soften the left heel towards the mat. Just really get as much of an opening here as you can. Point the right toe. Lengthen. We're going to come into pigeon here. So bring the right knee towards the face, up towards the top of your mat, and have a settling down of the hips with the left leg behind you. Ekapada Rajakapotasana, pigeon. Okay, so press the top of the back foot into the mat, lift the knee, and use that to shift your hips to make sure that they're even with the mat, okay? We don't want one hip bigger or higher than the other. If you need support under the right sitting bone, take that now with a blanket or a block. And then for now, we're just gonna kind of lengthen through the crown of the head and feel ourselves in this pose for a moment. Even if we know we can go further, we're gonna take a breath or two here. And depending on your mobility, your heel might be a little bit further away from the body than mine is. Your left leg, you can keep reaching through the toes, kind of scooching back. And if you're getting any pinching in the right thigh, you can just use your hand to rotate the thigh out and settle in a little bit more. Now, if you can go further here and you'd like to, and you can keep the spine neutral by doing so, go ahead and come down to your forearms. We can go further than this, but we want to do that without sacrificing our spine. So if you can come down to your hands or your fists or a block, go ahead, but still draw the shoulder blades back. And keep the neck supported, or I should say the forehead supported, so your neck can just release all the way. All the neck muscles just release. We're going to take a good 5 to 8 breaths here. So whatever sensations you're feeling, where you're feeling the tightness, just be aware of it, observe, don't attach any negativity to that. Maybe even say something nice to yourself. We're going to move out of this slowly. So on your next inhale, lift the head, reverse wherever you are. So make sure your hands are supporting you once again. And then we're going to curl the back toes under and slowly push ourselves up and back into downward facing dog. Take any movement with that right leg that you need to. If you want to bend the knee and just kind of rotate the hip joint or something like that, you can. And then we'll move on to the other side. So left leg comes up, right heel softens towards the mat. Feel an opening in the hips. Start to bend your left knee, bring it up towards the face, up towards the top of your mat, and come into your pigeon. Press the top of the right foot into the mat to lift the knee to adjust yourself. The side might be different, might be tighter, might be more open, but same things. You can rotate this left hip out manually. Take a breath or two sitting up, just to kind of feel where you are. Take any support under the left sitting bone if it's lifted in the air. Most importantly, this right leg should have an internal rotation. The foot's not pointing out, the knee's not pointing out. It's rotated in. Go ahead and come down to forearms, maybe. Lengthen through the crown of the head, shoulders back. And then maybe go all the way down. How far down you go is really irrelevant. Listening to your body is the important thing. And keeping the strength, the muscular action, and the shoulder girdle is also important here. 5 to 8 breaths, just slow, steady breathing. Maybe a couple of dog licks on the face in between. Inhale, lift the head. Bring yourself back to where you're being supported by your arms. Curl the back toes under and lift yourself up and back into downward facing dog. Moving that left leg around however you need to. And then inhale, look up, step forward. Exhale, fold. Very slowly, we're gonna inhale and come up, but come up with a flat back, okay? So press all 4 corners of both feet, inhale all the way up, nice and slow, nice and slow. Palms together, exhale, hands in front of the heart. We're gonna do 2 rounds of Surya Namaskar A, or Sun Salutation A. So we'll take a moment in Tadasana or mountain pose. Feel our feet, lift the arches, lift the chest. Maybe recalibrate the breath here. Or notice the heart beating. And then go ahead and inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold, bend the knees as generously as you need to. Definitely drop the head all the way. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back and chaturanga down all the way evenly, go all the way down to the mat. Uncurl the toes, inhale to a cobra. Back body is doing all the work here, or most of it. Curl the toes under, downward facing dog or child's pose for 5 breaths, you choose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna meet in a forward fold. So inhale, look up and get to the front of your mat. And then exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Palms together, exhale, hands in front of the heart. One more time, just like that. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Move with your breath. Good. Inhale, look up. And exhale, chaturanga. Let your elbows kiss the sides of the body as you go down. Inhale, cobra. Lengthen through the crown of the head. And exhale, take it back, yogi's choice. 1, 2. Deep breathing. 3. 4. 5. Inhale, look up. We all meet in a forward fold at the front of our mats. Inhale all the way up. Palms together, exhale, hands in front of the heart. Okay, so I want you to take a wide stance on your mat. We're gonna do a forward fold, and then we're gonna do, actually we'll do warrior 2 first, then forward fold, then take it to the other side. So if you need a block for your forward fold, have that handy. The thing about coming into alignment with what we're supposed to do, sometimes we need to get rid of old things. And those old things are they're in our hips. It's our junk drawer. This is our junk drawer of emotions that we don't know what to do with. So starting with a warrior 2, we really want a wide stance for this. From the right hip socket, lift, pivot the toes out 90 degrees, straight forward. The back toes or foot, the outer edge of the foot can be parallel to the back of the mat, or they can come in a little bit. The foot can come in. Your hips in warrior 2 are not going to be completely off the side of the mat. There is a little internal rotation. Take your left hand to the left hip, press. Get that side lunge-ish going. And then the right knee goes over the second and third toe. So you can see your big toe, but not the rest of them. Left shoulder comes back. Shoulder girdle can go off the side of the mat, and extend the arms. Flip the palms up just to keep the shoulder blades towards each other and down. Just keep that external rotation. Look off the right hand. Take a few breaths here. Legs are working strong. You can even drop the left buttocks a little bit and come to center. We're going to reach back in a reverse warrior here. So drop the left hand to the back of the left leg. Inhale the right arm up and back. Just look up at your hand for a breath. And then exhale back down to warrior 2. Bring your hands to your waist, straighten the right leg, pivot the right toes in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hips go back, chest goes forward, all the way down. Keep the sitting bones lifted. Come down to your block or hands to the mat, fingertips to the mat. Drop the head. The shoulders are still aiming back. And then we're just going to keep lifting the sitting bones. The legs are really strong in forward folds to protect our hamstring attachments. Good. You should be feeling the inner edges of your shoulder blades working towards each other. Take another breath here, and you can bend your knees if you need to. One more breath. Inhale, look up. Exhale, bring your hands to your waist. And then inhale, come all the way up. Good. All right. It's going to feel so good to bring our feet back together, but you guys can do it. Left hip socket. Rotate the toes out. Maybe even adjust your stance again. Push on that right hip, bend into the left knee. The left knee, it's going to have a tendency to cave in. Don't let it cave in. Use the muscles of the leg to keep it open. Right shoulder comes back, extend the arms. Palms face up. Reach out through the pinkies. Good. And then we're not tucking the tailbone, we're just releasing it towards the mat. And then remember, lifting the pelvic floor, zip up the abdominals, reach through the crown of the head. One more breath here. Right palm drops down, left palm comes up and back. Back to warrior 2. Hands on the hips, straighten the left leg, pivot the toes in very carefully. Bring the feet back together, shake the legs out. Good. Inhale, bring the arms up. Interlace the fingers, palms up towards the ceiling. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhale back to center, reach. And exhale, lean. Come back to center, bring the arms down, grab the elbows behind the back if you can. If you can only reach wrists, that's fine, but just see where your edge is, okay? You're gonna be in Tadasana legs or mountain pose legs, nice and strong, nice tall spine. Nothing is moving here except the neck and the head. We're gonna look to the right. Bring the chin to the chest, roll it across, and then look over the left shoulder. Go back. Nice and slow. Keep going, use your breath. Notice any differences on one side or the other as far as your range of motion with the neck or the cervical spine. We'll do a couple more rounds here. Weight in the feet is even. And finish up where you are, bring the head back to center. Good. Release the arms. We're gonna do tree pose, but I'm gonna give you two options, okay? So you can do your regular tree pose, and remember, use the wall, use whatever you need. Asking for help as we're going through life is really important. So you could do your regular tree everywhere except for the knee joint, of course. Don't put your foot there. Or you can take a half lotus with your leg. If your knee can go above your pelvis by itself, you can take a half lotus and come to a modified version of this. Okay. So when you're ready, go ahead and take your tree and find your breath. Keep your eyes on a focus point. Use your breath. Good. One more. And then point the knee forward, the bent knee, extend the leg, and bring it down. Yeah. Just an extra opportunity for strengthening. Find your tree on the other side. My face is like so glowy right now. It's ridiculous. Hey, ring light. Good. Yep, wherever you are, just be okay with it. Find your focus point, use your breath. Let your breath help you balance. And remember, the bandhas are really activated here. They're activated through the whole practice, but really come back to that focus. Lift the pelvic floor. Gather at the lower belly, in and up. You guys look great. Just breathe. One more. Yep. And Erica, if your heel's up there, just press your heel into your inner groin like you're crushing a diamond. Good. Bring the knee forward, extend the leg, and back to Tadasana. Good. Come to the front of your mat. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, take it back to child's pose. We're all going into child's pose. We're just going to take a few breaths here. And if you want to grab the bottoms of your feet and just come into a ball, you can do that. Or you can bring your hands together, prayer hands behind the neck. Just give your arms a rest. One more breath here. On your exhale, bring your hands back to the mat if they're not there already, and lift yourself to hands and knees. We're going to do our cat pose or Betalasana. So on an inhale, lift the tail and lift the gaze, just really getting the spine in all directions here. And then on an exhale, arch. Bring the tailbone towards the face, really separate the shoulder blades, and then continue with your breath. Just go back and forth. If your eyes are closed, you can really focus on what's happening in the spine and the rest of the body. And if you want to take an extra breath, add an arch or a dip, go ahead and do that. We're going to do 3 more rounds. And then once you're ready to come to a neutral spine, once you're done with your rounds, just pause with a flat back at tabletop. You're going to extend the legs behind you and lower yourself all the way to the ground. So almost like a chaturanga, or you can just plop yourself. And then use your left arm as a pillow. You're going to rest your forehead on your left arm, and you're going to grab the right ankle or the right heel. The foot. If you can grab the ankle, grab the ankle. But if you can just grab the foot, grab the foot. And just do your best. If you have the pant leg, that's fine too. Press your hips into the floor. Now, if you're feeling something injurious into the knee, I want you to back out of this, but a stretch under the kneecap is sometimes possible here and okay. If you're not feeling much of a stretch here, you can always lift up onto your forearm so the chest and head are lifted up, or you can start to bring your heel towards the outside of the hip. This is a modified version of a pose where we take the heels all the way down to the floor, like some crazy contortionist stuff. Take another breath here. And then go ahead and release. Switch pillows to the other side. You're going to grab the foot. And I know some people think of that, or they'll see a pose and they'll be like, wow, that's crazy. I'm never going to do that. But then sometimes you see yourself, you never know where yoga is going to take you. And that's the cool thing about it. Press your hips into the floor. If you need to go further, do those same things. Lift up onto your forearm or take your heel, start to slide it on the outside of your hip. Or just be okay where you are. Another breath or two here. Keep the shoulders back and away from the ears. Go ahead and release. Okay, lift up onto your forearms, coming in a Sphinx pose, okay? Another thing about coming into alignment with who we're supposed to be is opening the heart and getting vulnerable, right? So your elbows are actually gonna be pretty much, I mean, it's just like what it's called. That's what it looks like. Sphinx pose, like a Sphinx, elbows under the shoulders, tops of the feet are flat on the floor, about hip width apart. Back of the body is really active here. I want you to push the floor away from you, lift the chin. We're not gonna bend the neck. We're just gonna keep lengthening through the crown of the head. Press the pelvis into the floor and breathe here. The knees are lifted off the floor because you're pressing and activating the legs. Now pull the floor towards you and see how that changes your pose. Keep breathing here. Either way, the arms are working a lot. And just take it as far as you can. And go ahead and release. Just lie down on your cheek for a moment. Let the arms rest behind you. And then flip cheeks, whatever side you're on, do the other side. And then bring your hands to your lower ribs. You're going to curl the toes under and just lift yourself evenly to hands and knees. So try not to let the lower back bend too much. Use your strength. Yep. Cross at the ankles. We're going to have a seat. And then we're going to lie down. So back to your back. You can have the knees bent for a moment. Just kind of feel the spine settling. We've just manipulated it in a lot of different ways. Bring the knees up towards the chest when you feel settled. Get the lower back flat. So lift the tailbone and then rock left to right. Get the full, take advantage of what this pose can do. Soften the belly, soften the lower back, and really squish the muscles of the lower back onto the mat. And then we'll go ahead and bring the feet down. We are going to do bridge pose, okay? Shoulder blades are flat on the back, and the heels are going to come as close to the body as you can get them. In your mind's eye, make sure everything is parallel. So the knees, the femurs, the lower legs, the feet, everything is in one nice line. They're parallel to each other. Toes are pointing straight. On an inhale, let's make that your next inhale. Go ahead and lift your pelvis up towards the ceiling. Press the heels and the inner edges of the feet. You could stay right here or walk your shoulders, however it is in your practice to do your bridge. Interlace the fingers maybe, and press up a little bit higher. Keep the neck neutral. Keep looking up. The knees are going to want to open. Keep pressing the inner edges of the feet. One more breath here. And go ahead and lower. Release pelvis to the floor and then unwind the spine. Take a breath. And we're going to do it one more time. Before we go up this time, I want you to take a slight tilt in the pelvis. So tilt the pelvis forward a little bit, anterior tilt. It'll feel like you're bringing a little bit more curve into the lower spine. And then with that tilt, go ahead, inhale and lift. Just getting the sacrum out of the way so we can maybe lift a little bit higher. Feel the legs doing most of the work. You're pressing the shoulder blades, the lower edges of the shoulder blades into the back to lift the chest. The glutes are doing some work here, but not all of it. Taking another breath or two. And then go ahead and release. Nice and slow all the way down. Good. Unravel the spine. If you have a block, grab it now. If you don't have a block, that's fine. We're going to use our hands like the shape of a diamond, and we're going to put it underneath our sacrum. So right above the tailbone, right below the lowest part of the spine. In other words, it shouldn't hurt as we take this next step. Have good support under the sacrum. Lift your left leg. We're just bringing the legs up like a Viparita Karani with the block. Bring the right leg up. The legs are together as much as they can be. Now, if your hamstrings are nice and flexible, your feet might come too close to the face. If they're really tight, they might be too far away. We're looking for that 90-degree angle. The feet can pretty much relax here. You can grab onto the block with your hands if you're using a block. It takes some muscular action, but we're really just, air quotes, draining the legs here, relieving the legs, setting us up for rest and digest mode for our nervous system as we move on with our day. We're going to be here for 5 more breaths. Whatever sensations you're feeling, just breathe through them, acknowledge them. Take the left leg first. Nice and slow, mindful practice here. Just lower the left leg. Feel your foot on the floor. Right leg comes down next, foot on the floor. Lift, remove the block or your hands and slowly lower down to the mat. And take a breath here. One last time, we're gonna hug the knees. And if you'd like to bring it into a happy baby, this is where you would do it. Grab the insides of the legs or the feet. Lift the sitting bones. And then press the knees towards the floor. Rock a little bit left to right. One last big hip opener. And then bring the knees back together. Feet to the floor. Straighten your legs and bring your arms overhead. So take a nice long stretch. Circle the wrists and the ankles. And then bring the arms down. We're going to get into our Shavasana, last pose of the morning. However you like to take your Shavasana, get ready and prepare for it. And once you're ready, palms are facing up, about 6 inches away from the body. And know that you're in a safe place. This is where I hold space for you. You're in your own home. Really take this as an opportunity to let go. Separate the feet. Let the feet hang out. Take a deep, deep breath in. Separate the lips and exhale. As you exhale, just feel everything sink into the ground. This is your opportunity to observe the body, balances, imbalances, how you feel after your practice, the quality of your breath, not for attaching labels to it, but just to observe. Just allow yourself to be for the next few moments. Allow your inhalations to begin to deepen. And when you're ready, begin to slowly wiggle the fingers and the toes. Maybe begin to move, bless you, into the wrists and ankles. And then if you'd like to take another stretch here or a bend of the knees, whatever the body's craving. Roll onto your right side when you're ready. Use your arm as a pillow. And coming back to our discussion at the beginning of class and finding that unity of what your purpose is, your Dharma. Find out what that is slowly, day by day, and do it on purpose. Practice deliberately saying yes to those things that bring you to who you're supposed to be, and no to the things that don't support it. Take another breath or two. And then let the head stay heavy as you push yourself back to a seated position. Bringing the hands together in front of your heart. Thank you for letting me guide you today. The teacher in me honors and appreciates the teacher in you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Erica, Robin, Allison. I hope you all have such a great day. I appreciate you being here with me this morning.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
Good. Thank you, Allison. Bye.
Have a great rest of your day. Bye, ladies. Bye.
Bye. See ya, Erica. See ya.